The night sky over Sector 7 was quiet. Too quiet. Captain Rylan Voss, a 34-year-old human officer, stood outside his patrol ship, staring at a strange glow on the horizon. The scanners had picked up a crash. No radio signal. No distress call. Just a silent impact. Something fell from orbit, said his assistant, Mira, a young tech officer. But it wasn't on any registry. It's not one of ours. Rylan narrowed his eyes. Then what is it? They jumped into the hovercraft and sped across the rocky desert, winds howling around them like whispers. Sector 7 had been empty for years. Nothing lived here anymore after the first alien conflict. It was a dead zone. No reason for anyone human or alien to come here. Except now. Something had. Within minutes, they reached the crash site. The ground was blackened, glassy, from heat. In the center of the crater was a sleek silver pod, barely the size of a fighter craft. It was still warm, hissing with smoke, and glowing from faint blue lines along its surface. Mira gasped. That's not human design. Rylan nodded slowly. And it's not any alien tech we've seen either. The pod opened with a sudden hiss. Both officers raised their weapons, but what came out wasn't a monster. It was a woman. She stumbled forward, armor cracked and scorched. Her face was hidden behind a smooth silver mask, shaped to fit her head like a second skin. The armor shimmered between alien metal and something like Terran alloy. Her body collapsed into Rylan's arms before she hit the ground. "She's alive," Mira shouted, scanning her vitals. But barely. Human heartbeat. But something's off. The woman trembled, and in a weak voice, she whispered something only Rylan could hear. "Don't trust the Council." Then she passed out. Raylan stared at the woman's masked face. Who was she? How did she know about the Council? And why did her voice sound so human? Back at the base, the doctors ran tests. Her blood was part human, part something else. Her mask wouldn't come off, not even with plasma tools. And every machine that scanned her either overloaded or shut down. "She's more tech than body," one doctor said. "But somehow, she's still alive." Rylan sat alone with her in the medbay. No one else dared come close. The way the mask pulsed when he was near her made people nervous. Suddenly, her hand twitched. Then her fingers reached out shaking and grabbed Rylan's wrist. "Only you," she whispered, eyes hidden behind the mask. "Only you can know the truth." His heart skipped a beat. Before he could speak, alarms rang out across the base. A new signal. Multiple dropships were approaching fast Council ships. Myra ran in. They want the woman. Now, they called her a rogue weapon. Rylan stood up, anger and confusion mixing inside him. "Weapon? She's half dead." She asked for help. Myra lowered her voice. "A Council doesn't want her alive. They said, terminate on sight." Rylan looked back at the woman, still lying silent. Her breathing shallowed. Her mask lit up again. This time showing an image. It was a young girl. A photo of Rylan's sister, who had died in the war over 20 years ago. "What the hell?" he whispered. The mask shut down again, returning to its smooth silver surface. Outside, the Council dropships were landing. Inside, Captain Rylan Voss had just made a decision. He wouldn't hand her over. Not until he knew who she really was. Not until he heard the truth. The Council ships landed like shadows falling across the desert. Captain Rylan Voss stood near the medbay window, watching them approach. His heart was heavy. The woman in the silver mask lay behind him silent, unmoving, but every moment near her raised more questions. Raylan turned as Mira entered the room again, her face tense. "They've surrounded the base. They want you to bring the girl out. In 5 minutes. No discussion." "What did you tell them?" Rylan asked. "I stalled. But they're not waiting long. Myra paused. They called her asset Echo, said she was stolen technology. Rylan glanced at the masked woman. She spoke like a person, not a weapon. People can be turned into weapons, Mira replied. Quietly. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Machines around the room sparked only for a second, but enough to startle them both. Then a low hum filled the air. The woman's mask began to glow again, this time projecting a faint light across the ceiling. It wasn't random, it was writing alien symbols, mixed with English words. Mira read it aloud slowly. Project Echo, created 17 years ago. Terran DNA sequence, Rylan Voss. Her eyes widened. Rylan, that's your DNA signature. He stepped back. That's not possible. My sister, she died when I was a boy. The woman stirred. Her voice was weak, but clear. I was made from her. Memories. Your sister's pain. Rylan knelt beside her, his hands trembling. Who did this to you? She turned her head, mask still fixed. The council. They wanted to create peacekeepers, perfect ones. But we weren't perfect. We remembered. Too much. We started to feel. Feel what? Pain, guilt, love. Rylan whispered, You're not a weapon. She shook her head. No, I'm a warning. Before he could ask more, a loud knock came from the main door. Council soldiers. Times. Up, Captain. Someone shouted. Hand her over now. Rylan looked at Myra. Get her to the launch bay. Use Tunnel 3. Quietly. What about you? I'll delay them. As Myra guided the woman out through the side exit, Rylan walked to the front. Gate. He opened it slowly and saw 3 armored soldiers, weapons ready. A tall figure in dark blue robes stepped forward. It was Council Commander Jaren Vel, a cold, calculating enforcer. You're making this harder than it has to be, Jaren said. She's injured. She hasn't done anything wrong. She's council property. You have one last chance, Captain. Rylan stared him down. Then take your property, but I hope you're ready to tell the galaxy what the council's been hiding. A slight flicker of panic crossed Jaren's face. You don't know what she is? He said darkly. That mask hides more than a face. It hides a mistake, and a secret that can burn empires. Then he raised his hand to give the attack command, but alarms blared. A ship had launched from the underground bay. Myra had escaped with her. Jaren's calm expression broke. You traitor! Rylan raised his weapon. No, Commander. I'm still a soldier, but now I fight for the truth. Blasters fired. Smoke filled the air. And above the chaos, a small ship carrying a masked woman, part human, part machine, part memory, rose into the stars. Meanwhile, inside the fleeing ship, Mira turned to the woman. Where are we going? The masked woman answered quietly. To where it all began. Where he buried her. Where I first woke up. The small ship flew silently through the blackness of space. Mira sat beside the strange woman, who had no name, only a glowing mask and a soft voice. The woman hadn't spoken much since they escaped the council. But now, as stars passed outside the window, she began to whisper. I remember a garden, and a swing made of rope, and a boy who laughed. Myra looked at her. Was that Rylan? The woman nodded slowly. I wasn't born. I was made, but memories were placed inside me. His sister's memories. His sister died in a council. Auming, Myra said quietly. Yes, the woman replied. And they used her pain to make me. Her thoughts. Her emotions. They didn't just build a weapon. They built her grief into me. Myra didn't know what to say. The woman continued. They called me Echo, because I'm not real. Just a voice from the past. But somehow, I feel everything. Suddenly, the ship's navigation lit up. They were approaching old Earth, a place abandoned after humanity joined the stars. But one small island on the blue planet still had power. Echo pointed to it. That's where she was buried, and where I first woke up in the lab below her grave. On the surface, clouds drifted over green hills and broken ruins. They landed in silence. Birds flew away at the sound of their landing gear. Mira followed, Echo down a hidden path to a stone grave. Amelia Voss, brave sister, lost but not forgotten. Echo touched the stone gently. I remember this place, she said, though it was never truly mine. It belonged to her. Mira watched as Echo stepped onto a metal plate near the grave. It scanned her. A hidden hatch opened. Below the earth was a forgotten lab, filled with dust and ancient lights. The walls were covered in notes, photos of Amelia Voss, DNA, charts, messages written in both alien and human script. This is where they recreated me, Echo said softly. The council believed if they combined human love and alien design, they could create something powerful. Why would they use her? Mira asked. Because she died saving a council colony. Her story became propaganda. But behind closed doors, they stole her body and copied her mind. Mira shivered. That's cruel. Echo pointed at a cryopod in the corner. Inside was a glowing crystal. My core, she said. If they take it, they can build more like me. Thousands, with no emotion, just memories. Just pain. Suddenly, Echo fell to her knees. Her mask flickered. A voice echoed through the room. Ryland's voice. It was a recorded message, left long ago. If you're hearing this, then I know something survived. Amelia, I'm sorry I couldn't protect you. If someone made you live again, I just hope they gave you peace. Echo trembled. I am not her. I'm a shadow. Myra placed a hand on her shoulder. You may not be Amelia, but you're not just a shadow. You're alive, and you chose to feel. Meanwhile, back on the council ship, Commander Jarnvel stood before the council elders. She's heading to Earth, he said, to the lab. Then burn it, an elder replied. No more witnesses, and no more ghosts. Back on Earth, Myra's device beeped. Incoming ships, she said. Council dropships, 10 of them. ETA, 10 minutes. Echo stood. If they destroy this place, no one will know what really happened. No one will remember who Amelia was. Myra looked around. So what now? Echo stared at her mask in a mirror. It's time to remove the mask. Mira blinked. But it's bonded to your skin. Echo's voice was steady. Not anymore. Asterisk. The council ships were coming fast. In the dark underground lab, Echo stood in front of the mirror. Her fingers touched the smooth, silver mask that had hidden her face since the day she woke up. I've lived in this mask for years, she whispered. It was supposed to protect me. But really, it was a prison. Mira stared at her. Can you remove it? I have to, Echo replied. If I die with it on, the truth dies too. The mask's edges began to glow. Mira stepped back as small lights circled Echo's face. The lab filled with a strange humming sound. The mask cracked slowly and split down the middle. With one final breath, Echo pulled the two pieces away. Her face was revealed. It wasn't just human. It was Amelia Voss's face, perfectly rebuilt. But there were small lines of silver at her temples. Her eyes glowed faintly, but they were filled with sorrow. Myra gasped. You really are her? No, Echo said. I'm what they made from her. But now I choose who I become. She walked toward the main console in the lab and pressed her palm to it. A hidden file unlocked. A video played on the wall. The faces of powerful council leaders filled the screen. Project Echo is in Phase 2, one said. We will use Amelia's memory to shape our peacekeepers. The people will follow her face. They trust it. Another added, pain is useful. Love is powerful. Mix both into a soldier, and no one will dare to resist us. Echo watched in silence. Then another file played. It was Amelia's final message, recorded just before her death. If the Council is using me for war, I want the world to know. I chose peace. I died protecting others. Don't let them twist that. Myra looked sick. They lied to everyone. The Council turned her sacrifice into a weapon. Echo nodded. And now they want to erase it all. Outside, the Council ships landed. Commander Jarenvel stepped out first, his eyes cold and sharp. Soldiers followed, carrying plasma rifles and demolition charges. Destroy the lab, he ordered. And bring me Echo dead or alive? Inside, Echo and Mira worked fast. We can't fight them, Myra said. There's too many. We don't have to, Echo said, placing her hands on the console. We just need to send the truth. What? I'm uploading Amelia's memories. Her real story, the Council files, everything. Myra's eyes widened. To where? To everyone. Echo pressed a final button. The lights flashed across the galaxy. Screens lit up in ships. In colonies. On space stations, the video played. Amelia's message, the Council's lies. The real Echo. The truth. Commander Jaren's gums crackled. His face went pale. Sir, one soldier said, it's spreading. All of it. Even the border planets are playing it. The people were watching. The silence was broken. Back in the lab, Echo smiled weakly. They can kill me. But now, they can't kill the truth. Mira grabbed her arm. No, we're not dying here. Suddenly, explosions rocked the lab. Council had started bombing the surface. Echo staggered. Go. I'll hold them off. No. Myra shouted. Echo looked at her. You helped me feel again. That means more than surviving. She pressed a switch on her wrist. Tunnel 4. It'll take you to a hidden pod. Myra hesitated, then hugged her. You're more human than any of them. Then she ran. Echo stood alone in the lab as dust fell from the ceiling. She looked at Amelia's grave one last time. And whispered, They used your face to build control, but I used your heart to break it. The lab collapsed in fire and light. Far away, in a small escape pod, Mira watched. The explosion from orbit. Her eyes were full of tears, but her heart knew Echo had become more than a copy. She had become a symbol. Asterisk. The escape pod floated through space like a lost memory. Mira sat alone, her eyes fixed on the small glowing core. Echo had left behind a piece of her energy, still pulsing. The galaxy was on fire with truth now. Videos of the Council's lies, Amelia's sacrifice, and Echo's stolen life were spreading everywhere. But Myra couldn't stop thinking about the woman she left behind. Suddenly, a signal appeared on her screen. Incoming ship. Identity. Human military. Captain Rylan. Voss, she gasped. Rylan? You're alive, she whispered. Minutes later, Raylan stepped into Myra's ship. He looked tired, bruised, but still alive. You made it out, Mira said. I had to, he answered. I saw the broadcast. I knew it was her. She uploaded everything, Mira said. And she removed the mask. Rylan froze. What did she look like? He asked. Myra handed him a small hologram Echo had left behind. As it glowed, he saw Amelia's faceholder, mixed with silver tech, but undeniably his sister. His knees gave out, and he sat in silence. She died years ago, he said. But I see her in Echo's eyes. She said you deserved to know the truth, Mira replied, before she stayed behind. Rylan held the image close. Then I need to find her. even if there's nothing left. Meanwhile, deep beneath the rubble of the destroyed lab, Echo opened her eyes. She had survived. Her body was damaged, one arm sparking, vision blurry, but her core still beat. "I'm not done," she whispered to herself, using the last of her strength. She activated a stealth beacon one that only Rylan could trace. Back on Myra's ship, the console beeped again. "Signal detected," the AI said. "Old Earth. Frequency locked to Captain Rylan Voss's DNA." Rylan stood. "She's alive?" Myra nodded. "Let's go get her." They landed on the smoking ruins of the lab. The ground was broken, metal scattered everywhere. But beneath the ash, Rylan found a tunnel still open. They followed it down. Down into the dark dot at the end, they found her Echo Dot. She sat against a wall, one arm missing, her armor scorched. But when she saw Rylan, her eyes glowed softly. "You came," she said. "I told you once," Rylan whispered, kneeling beside her. "I'd never let anyone take you from me again." Echo smiled weakly. "I'm not your sister," she said. "No," he said, "but you carry her heart." Tears filled her eyes, real ones. "I was scared," Echo whispered, "that if I took off the mask, you'd see me and hate what I am." Rylan shook his head. "I don't see a weapon. I see someone who chose to be more than what they were made to be." He gently touched her cheek. "Take my mask off." "You deserve the truth," she said again, softly. "But I already know it now." He answered, "The truth is, you're real. You're alive. And you matter." Echo cried. Just then, the comms crackled. "To all systems," a voice said. "The Council has fallen. Civil uprisings everywhere. Leaders arrested. Earth is free. The truth won." Echo listened, her breathing shallow. "I didn't think I'd live to hear that," she said. Rylan picked her up. "Now let's make sure you do." As they walked out of the ruined lab, light shone from the sky above. The world wasn't the same anymore, because one masked woman made from pain, born from lies, had chosen hope instead of hatred. And humanity had followed. Asterisk Echo lay on the Yek. Medical table inside Rylan's ship. Her body was connected to repair tubes. Her systems were failing, but her eyes were calm. Mara stood beside her, holding her hand. "You'll recover," she said softly. Echo smiled weakly. "No, my time is short. I gave too much power to the broadcast, but it was worth it." Rylan sat nearby, watching the stars through the window. "You changed everything, Echo." The council fell. The people woke up. Echo turned her head toward him. "I didn't do it alone. You believed in me, even when I couldn't believe in myself." Her voice was slow now. "There's one final message, stored in my core. It's meant for the galaxy, for the children who will grow up free." Rylan leaned forward. "You want us to send it?" Echo nodded. "Yes, after I'm gone. I want the truth to become something more. Not just a secret, a lesson." Mira whispered, "We'll make sure it's heard." Later that night, the ship floated in silent orbit around New Earth. Echo's core light began to fade. She looked one last time at Rylan. "You gave me a name. You gave me a choice." Tears filled his eyes. "You gave us hope." Then she smiled, and her eyes slowly closed. Her last breath was peaceful. She was gone. The next day, Rylan stood at a podium in front of a large crowd. Behind him was a statue. Being built. Echo's face, half human, half alloy. He looked into the cameras as the message began to play across every screen in the galaxy. Echo's voice. "I was made to be silent, made to wear a mask, but someone listened. They saw more than a weapon. They saw a memory and a choice. You may not know who I was, but if you can choose truth over lies, hope over fear, then maybe, just maybe, I was real after all. Crowds across the galaxy stood still, on space stations, on old colony worlds, even former council planets. People wept out soldiers, laid down weapons. And children asked who the woman with the silver mask was. The answer became a legend. She was the one who chose to feel and taught us how to live. Mira later joined Rylan on a quiet hilltop where they placed Echo's core inside a crystal monument. She didn't just carry Amelia's face, Myra said. She carried the future. Rylan nodded. No more lies, no more masks. Above them, stars shined brighter, because Echo's truth had reached the galaxy. Asterisk.